Welcome to How We Met. I'm Sheryl Strich, and every month I get to interview two couples who tell their story about how they met. First up are Karen and Bob Napack. Bob is very involved in the ceramics studio. Not only does he create beautiful ceramics, but he volunteers to run the Reiku, I hope that's right, firings once a week. And he also volunteers to supervise there twice a month. And I was just told as soon as we're done here, he's running over there to supervise. Bob loves golf and plays once or twice a week. Karen works part-time, so her time becomes a bit limited. However, she swims 3 to 4 times a week, and I see her there. She, too, was involved in the ceramics studio, but she's taken a 2-year break. She also attended the now-defunct Shalom Club and made many friends there who'd invite her to play games weekly. They both love music and love to dance, so you can see them at village dances and at some packed performances, and they both enjoy the stretch class. Welcome. Did I get it all in?
You did great.
But you got it.
Great.
I'm so glad you could be here today.
Well, thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
As I told you minutes ago, I asked 3 questions.
Right.
So the first question is, where are you from?
We're from New Jersey.
Really?
Yeah.
Where in New Jersey?
Well, I started out in Jersey City and ended up in Morristown.
Okay.
And I grew up in Westfield.
Westfield.
Westfield. It's halfway between Trenton and New York City. If you drew a line, it's.
Okay.
I think the Garden State exit is like 30. I forget what it is.
I don't
36 or something like that.
I grew up in Pompton Lakes, New Jersey.
Oh,
Did you?
Right. Right. I
Oh.
left when I was 12.
Right.
To New York State, where you could drink legally at 18, but
Oh.
my parents weren't thinking about that.
Yeah, right. Nice thing to look forward to, I guess.
Yeah.
At that time, yes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. How long have you guys been a couple?
Well, depends.
That's a little tricky question because we met in high school.
Okay.
So we were a couple in high school for about a year and a half. Then we split up. We went to different colleges, and we got back together 21 years later or so.
Right.
And we've been married for 36 years, so we were a couple for 37 years on that stretch.
Right.
So getting close to 40 years.
I think this is a good story, but we'll get to it in a second.
Okay.
Okay, how long have you guys been in Laguna Woods?
14 years?
No, 11.
Okay, 11.
I'm the timekeeper.
Yeah, 14 to 11, you're
Did
right.
you move from New Jersey?
No.
No, we lived very close by in Portola Hills.
Oh,
Right, the Saddleback
Yes,
Mountain.
yes.
We lived right at the,
Nice.
like a quarter up the mountain.
Okay. Okay, how long were you there?
Oh, 10 years.
Okay.
And prior to that, 11 in
And
Mission Viejo.
Okay, I'm not going to go into
No,
it.
yeah,
Right. because that's another story. That's another
Totally.
show.
That's another show.
Okay, let's get into it. How did you meet? The first time and then the second time.
Okay.
The first time we met at a party in 1967. So I was 17 and she was 16. She belonged to a religious girls group, the BBG, and I belonged to the male version, the AZA.
Yeah.
And I lived in Westfield, she lived in Morristown, and we spent our time plotting how to get to the girls, and we had a party with the girls in Morristown.
How far away were you?
About a half hour,
Okay.
40 minutes
And
or
you had a
so.
driver's license?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's important.
By that time,
would help.
By that time we were driving.
Yeah.
And I remember going into this house, one of the girls' houses there, their parents' house, and coming right up to Karen and said, "Hi, I'm Bob Napack."
With this emphasis on, I'm Bob Napack.
And you said?
And I said, well, first I was shocked that this guy was standing right in front of me because I was looking behind because when they opened the door to come in, it was really cold, so I gave them a really dirty look, I thought. And then I turned around and there was this Bob Napack right in front of me, so it was very surprising.
And the prom, I love the prom picture,
Oh,
but that was
thanks.
just you. You were not in the prom picture.
Oh,
I thought the prom picture had both of us.
Oh, it
did
was
too.
both of you.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Oh, okay. I didn't
think
know.
so.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that was both of us.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to the prom, her prom together.
Right.
My prom, we went down to the shore.
Right.
No, then you went to you went to his prom? Oh.
No, we just
didn't
spent
go to
the
my
day.
prom. We just went,
We
took the
could've-
day and
Okay.
went with a bunch of friends down to,
Because we talked about it and we can only afford one. And we decided to go to mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then you went to college and you split up.
Yeah.
she sent me a Dear Bob letter.
Oh.
Yeah, I met this guy who I ultimately married at 21. And then it was a long-lasting marriage for 14 months.
And what about you?
I was going to school, and when the very first draft lottery number came out, I was number 18.
Oh,
So that kind of put a kebab on things for me, and I figured I'm going to graduate college and be on the front lines in Vietnam, and I said, I don't think I want to do that. So I dropped out of school, and I went to Navy Reserve, and I ended up in Connecticut for quite a while, and then after that I ended up living with somebody there, and then I met a woman and with 2 kids, and we're married for about 9 years, and then everything kind of imploded.
and did it implode?
Well-
You were imploded earlier.
Oh, no, I imploded much earlier because at 14 months, I got married at 21,
Right.
so that I was 22 when we split up. And so what happened was, he knew we were in contact off and on very slightly.
Was Facebook around at that point?
No
No, that
Facebook.
was.
So you just
Just letters.
Letters,
back
Yeah,
and forth,
letters.
regular
Not even emails.
traditional mail.
okay.
And when I was like 24, I got a message from an aunt of mine who he found and told her that he wanted to contact me. And so we did have a reunion while he first lived with a woman. After,
So you had the reunion while you were living with
Yes,
somebody.
that is
Well,
correct.
it was,
Yeah, that's correct.
that's another story.
That's a whole other show.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we talked, got together, blah, blah. I was dating somebody, he was with the woman, and he told me he was still attracted to me, and I thought, he's with somebody, I'm with somebody, forget it.
Right.
And then a multitude of years went by, and he was with another woman who he married with 2 kids. And what happened was, I was living in another state, and I came back to New Jersey where my mother lived. His parents still lived there, and we had our own little reunion.
We came down
I
for
met his
Thanksgiving
wife, I met his
my family.
kids,
Oh.
I saw his family again, his siblings, his parents, his
So
grandparents.
your parents and you had a reunion with your parents?
No,
Oh,
just
Her- it was just her
It was
and
just
a friend.
Bob,
Okay.
myself, a friend, and we went to his family of origin's
Okay.
house.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
where
how
we.
interesting.
Oh,
Okay.
that was.
And even though I was ensconced in a marriage and everything, we still realized there was a connection between us at that point. But we both left and went back up to our lives. And
Right.
then about
3?
3 or 4 years later, my whole life was imploding. The marriage was going bad. The business I was in was going bad. Everything was. And the last day I went into work to clear out my desk, there was a note from her because 6 months earlier I got an address unknown. She moved. She didn't tell me.
Oh.
Last day I go in, there's a note from her saying, I've moved, here's my new address, here's my phone number. So I immediately called her about 10 or 12 times,
Yeah.
and eventually I came out to California. I bought a motorhome and took my time coming out to
Were you
California.
in California at
She
that?
was in California.
Right. I had moved to
Oh.
California when I was 30
Okay.
from New Jersey.
Okay.
And I loved it out here. I had friends. I was happy. I was working. And then, I never forgot him because I always wondered, what is he doing now? Or my mother would say, what's Bob doing
So
now?
did you have the reunion when you were still living in New Jersey?
That's
Not
another
be-
story, Cheryl. I was in another state at the time.
Oh, okay, but not California.
No, not at all. I was recruiting for a high-tech company in another state
Okay.
at that time.
Okay. All right. So
So we came out, got back together then.
your marriage had imploded.
Right,
but
his
work-
marriage.
Yeah, everything
Right.
imploded. I took a month to come out to California.
In his
I just
RV.
took-
In
your
my
RV.
RV. And my plan was to pick her up if there was something there, and we kind of knew we'd been talking,
Right.
and go back the southern route. I took the northern route out.
Oh,
And
go back to New Jersey.
go back.
Or
I was an-
Connecticut.
I was an
Connecticut.
East Coast boy. That's all
Right.
there was to
Right,
it.
right.
I wasn't a California boy.
Okay.
And she said, "No, I'm not leaving California." I said, "Okay, hurt me. I'll stay."
Yeah, right.
That was 37 years ago.
Oh my. Okay.
Right.
I've been here ever since.
So where in Southern California were you at that point?
Well, I was in Los Alamitos.
Okay.
I was working at, remember the old telephone companies?
Yes.
Yeah, I was I was in human resources at
Okay.
the time.
Okay.
Changed fields along the way, and he arrived, and I said to him, well, we talked every night, and I said, we're just friends. You just got separated, and I never dated recently separated men because,
Right.
Yeah.
Not good.
But he was in a different place, and he had taken it like more than 4 weeks to come out, and he thought about things, and and I said, we're just going to be friends. I have 2 bedrooms. You can sleep, in my other bedroom. And that didn't work. And so, things just, lit up right away for us.
Oh,
and
nice.
We really kind of just picked up where we were from high school.
like the closeness.
The closeness.
Hopefully we matured along the way.
And did you find work out here?
I did. I actually had a friend in Northern California, and I spent some time placing programmers with him. And then I went back to school for graphic design.
We were married by then.
We were married, yeah. I went back to school for graphic design, and Karen wanted to get back down to Southern California, and we
'Cause
came
we were
down
in
here,
Northern.
and then both got jobs and did quite well, actually.
Right.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And then I went back to school, and
Got her.
I got my doctorate in psychology while we were married.
And that's what you're doing part-time?
yeah.
Okay.
Online. It's
Online
great.
therapist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
You need a whole other show for us, right?
I do, actually. So you're still working, but you're not. But you're,
I'm not.
But you're very busy with the ceramic studio and all of
I
that.
am.
Does
I
that
am.
play into your artistic ability, graphic
I
design?
think it does. Yeah, it definitely does. I still do graphic design. I still do some work for the men's club, and I still do.
The men's club.
Somebody calls me, the golf men's club
Yes,
in Laguna
yes,
Woods.
yes.
If somebody calls me, I'll work. I'm not soliciting.
Right.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Real wonderful. Well, I play pickleball. We're always looking for graphic designers. So.
Uh-oh. Hi, Bob.
flyers.
No, just kidding,
I'll give you
Cheryl.
my card.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Yeah. Anyway, wow, that was a story that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, right. Hello.
But it's a nice story. Do you ever see the children from that marriage?
I do. I'm in contact with them. I mean, they're 3,000 miles away, but
yeah.
I've gone back and gone on fishing trips and things like that, and gone and visited. We've both gone back and visited.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's
That's great.
wonderful.
That's great that it would work out like that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
But you don't have children together.
No,
That's why you have such a happy, joyous life.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, do have a happy, joyous life.
No aggravations. No
Yeah.
outside aggravations.
With kids, no. Yeah, we're really happy. I think that there was some kind of understanding, even as kids, that we had. There was a lot of respect
Right.
between us, which set the stage for a lot of relationships to come, because without respect and liking one another, you don't have much of a relationship. You can love somebody, but if you don't like them and respect them, it's a big problem.
Right. Before we end, I just got
Yeah.
the 2-minute warning, but I have to tell you that my older son was extremely involved in AZA.
Oh, yeah.
And he's 43
Yeah.
now, but he still keeps up with those friends.
Wow.
That was a very special group. I don't know if you still keep up with them.
I do.
Right.
Unfortunately, one of them has passed, but
Right.
I do, yeah.
It was a very special friendship among that
Yeah.
group of kids. The youth groups are really pretty special for
They-
high school kids.
They are.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you so much
Well,
for coming on.
Thank
It was
you for
really fun.
having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
If you'd like to come on to the show, email us at lwvcouples@gmail.com. Include your name, phone number, and email address, and brief description of your story.